All right, let's take it from the top. Hi everyone, this is Michael from Etkin, and today we're gonna make coffee with the Etkin 8-cup coffee dripper. I'm gonna use my favorite recipe. This is the recipe I use almost every morning. This device can brew up to 1 liter of coffee. I already ground my coffee. This is 45 grams of a really beautiful natural Honduras from our friends at Quill's Coffee. Our dripper uses a medium-coarse grind setting, and so whatever grinder you're using, you're probably gonna be in that upper 25% for the grind settings. Today we're using Malkonig X54 and we ground it on 32. So I'm gonna put my coffee in the device. I'm gonna settle the grounds a little bit. If you're doing any kind of bed distribution, this is a great point to do it. All right, so I'm gonna start my time right as I start pouring. Usually when we talk about brew time, we're talking about total contact time, so that's the entire time that hot water and coffee grounds are in contact with each other. I'm gonna use around 150 grams of water for my bloom. I'm gonna wait about 30 seconds or until I see the coffee not expanding anymore. All right, so our bloom is over, and now I'm starting with this center pour. I'm going in a spiral motion, just kind of tracing the outsides. For this first pour, I'm not going all the way to the edge, I'm just going right up to it. But I've added around 150 more grams of water to the dripper. So our total brew volume right now should be around 300 grams, and we're at a minute into the brew. I'm gonna wait 10 to 15 seconds to allow that coffee to begin to percolate through the coffee bed into the carafe. And now I'm gonna, once again, starting with the center, I'm gonna slowly spiral out towards the edges and add another 150 grams of water. This time I am gonna hit the edges, and that is just going to allow any coffee that might be stuck to the side of the filter to get washed back down into the bed. We want all of the grounds immersed in the slurry because we want all of those delicious coffee flavors to begin extracting. All right, and once again, I'm gonna add another 150 gram pulse, starting in the center, working my way out. This is kind of the point in the brew where I'm checking to see how is it brewing, how quick is the drawdown. Going for a total brew time of around 5 minutes at this volume. And so depending on how the coffee is responding, I might start pouring a little more aggressively, or I might slow down my pouring. So far, we're right on track. So at this point, we're about 90% of the way through our brew, and I'm starting to see the coffee change color. We're starting to see that most of our soluble compounds have already been dissolved, and when I check on the flow rate, I see that it's starting to slow down a little bit. And so at this point in the brew, I try to be a little more gentle with my pouring, a little less agitation. The compounds that are dissolving at this point of the brew tend to be a little more bitter, a little more astringent. So we want to kind of have a very gentle finish to our brew. All right, so at this point I've added 750 milliliters of water to our device. I'm gonna give it just an ever so gentle swirl. Shout out to Scott Rayo. This is gonna settle the bed and just have a really nice, beautiful, clean, flat brew bed for a really even extraction. Now it's the hardest part. We just have to wait for the coffee to finish percolating. At this point in the brew, where we get to find out how good of a job we did with our water distribution. As the last bits of water start to move through the bed, we want to see that entire brew bed kind of become exposed at the same moment. We don't want to see any mountains or valleys in the brew bed. We want to see a nice, flat, even surface. All right, I'm going to carefully remove the dripper and place it on a towel. And now, serve and enjoy. Enjoy.